Chaliye, let's move on to the next question. Okay. In a library, the ratio of the number of storybooks to that of non-storybooks was 4:3. Okay, storybooks to non-storybooks was 4:3. So story to non-story, let's write an S, was 4:3. And the number of storybooks was 1248. So this too makes it very simple, 1248. So you know K, because this was 4K and this was 3K. So 4K is equal to 1248. That automatically, if you divide, you will get K is equal to how much? 1248 divided by 4 is 312. K is equal to 312. Hence, your non-storybooks would be 3 into 312, which will be 936. Okay, so this is the present count of the books. I already have the value. Okay, when some more storybooks were added, were bought, the ratio became 5:3. Okay, so storybooks I know are 1248. Okay, now very interesting here. One thing you see, your non-story books was 4:3, 3 parts out of 7. And after buying some more storybooks, the non-story is still 3 parts. That means it has not changed. Obviously, it has not changed. But this can actually be done very, very easily. Because if you see story to non-story was 4:3. And now it has become 4 plus 1/3, 5/3. That means 4 parts. Now this 4 parts, you know, each part is equal to 312. So each part is equal to 312. One more part has been added. So obviously 312 storybooks would have been added. So the answer would be A. So you don't really have to do much here. Because 4/3 became 5/3. One part got added. 4 parts were already there. So you know that one part is equal to 312. So I can solve it directly. Okay. But in case you want to make the equation, I can write it like this. 1248 is the number of storybooks right now, plus X storybooks got added upon non-storybooks is 936. And this ratio is 5/3. You'll have to do some long multiplication, but basically this is what happens, right? Okay, so 1248 into 3. 8 into 3, 24, 2 carry, 12, 13, 14, 1 carry, 6, 7, 3, 7, 4, 4, plus 3x is 9360. So 4680, right? Okay, so then 3x is equal to, I'll have to subtract. This is 36 and this is 46. This is 9. So x is equal to 936 by 9, which is 312. So obviously you'll end up with the same answer, right? So this is how this question would be solved. I hope we are clear till here. Okay, so we will take a break now. We have done good concepts, good questions. We have understood everything. So let's end this session now. And in the next session, we'll take up some more difficult questions, some questions which have appeared in CAT and some which are CAT level questions, and we'll build on these concepts. Till then, you also revise everything that we have discussed and practice all the questions and do some more questions of similar variety so that you are ready for the next class. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay. Welcome to the next class on ratio and proportion. In the previous class, we discussed some core concepts of ratio. Okay. Ratio, basically, what is ratio? How is ratio calculated? And how do you calculate multiple ratios? How do you find the value of the constant? And how do you answer some simple questions? Okay, we also did a question on ages where we applied ratio in ages and we saw. And as I had told you in that class, ratio questions are these questions appear in so many different concepts, in ages, in coins, in profit and loss, in partnership, in allegations, in mixtures. We have this. Okay, so today in this class, we'll take up slightly more complex questions. Okay, and we'll take some questions which have appeared in CAT and in some of the other exams, and we'll look at how can we solve these questions from the concepts that we learned. Okay, so ready to go? Shala, let's get moving. So this is the first question. Okay, in continuation with the previous class. Rupees 8,400 is divided among A, B, C, D in such a way that the share of A, B, B, C, C, D are in this ratio. Now this, if you remember, we had learned the concept of combining ratio. This again is multiple ratio, right? So A by B is 2 by 3. B by C is 4 by 5. And C by D is 6 by 7. If you remember from the previous class, A is to B is to C is to D. For A, I will take all the three numerators. So 2 into 4 into 6. For B, I'll take the first denominator and two numerators. So 3 into 4 into 6. For C, I will take two denominators. So 3 into 5 and the third numerator into 6. And for D, I will take all the three denominators, 3 into 5 into 7. Hope you remember this. We had spent good time in the last class to explain this. Okay, so 3 numerators, 0 denominator. 1 denominator, 2 numerators. 2 denominator, 1 numerator. 3 denominators and 0 numerator. Okay, so what do I get? And is there anything common in the values? Yes, I see 3 common in all of them. So better to cancel so that you don't have to reduce it later. So this 6 cancel by 3, so it becomes 2. This 3 let's remove, this 3 let's remove, this 3 let's remove. So first values, is there 2 also common? No. So 4 into 2 into 2, 4 into 4, 16. So A, B, C, D is 16 is to 6 into 4, 24, 6 into 5, 30, 7 into 5, 35. So A, B, C, D, this is the ratio. Okay. Now the question is asking you the share of A. Now what are their total parts? A plus B is 16 plus 24 is 40 plus C 40, 50, 60, 70 plus 35, 105. Total is 105 parts. Okay, or you can say 105K. Now there are 2 methods of solving this question. We had discussed last time also. One method is you find the constant. I can say that 105K is equal to 8,400, or K is equal to how much? 80. K is equal to 80. Okay, this is one method. So if K is equal to 80, A will be 16 into 80, which will be 1280. So the answer will be choice A. The second method would be that I would not bother finding the K. And this I prefer because see, K has not been asked. Why do you want to waste your time finding K? So I will say A is 16 parts out of 105 parts. So A's share should be 16 upon 105 of total, which is 8,400. See here again, invariably, if you see you're finding K, because this when you cancel, you get 80. That 80 is nothing but K. So somewhere you'll find it, but I'm saying just instead of using this finding K separately, you just make this fraction, because sometimes what happens that this fraction itself may cancel out and you might not have to do that calculation. Okay, so you'll end up with the same answer, 1280. Okay. Obviously, you can find the value for each one of them. For B, it will be into 80, which is how much? 800 plus 800, which is 1600, 1600 plus 320, so 1920. It will be into 80. This is straight away 2400 and into 80. So this will be 2400 plus 400, 2800. And if you add all these four values, this was 1280, right? You should obviously get 8400. That also you should get. So 1280 plus 1920, you can check, right? You will get 8400 as the answer. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So we have used this concept of the previous class of combining ratios, and we got this ratio. Okay, this was the resultant value. And then we can either find the constant as a t, then get the answer, or we can straight away take as a fraction. Both the approaches are absolutely fine. Okay, so the answer for this question was which choice? Choice A. Yes. So that is the answer for this question. Hope you have understood this. Okay. Want to take up some more complex questions? Okay, let's take a very interesting question. This one. Don't get scared by seeing the question. Okay, but this is a question which has appeared in one of the exams. And ratio question can be like this also. Okay, so basically what does it tell you? If PQR means the product of PQR. Okay, let's break this question. P into Q into R is equal to 1. Then find the value of 1 plus P plus Q inverse. Okay. Now, 1 upon 1 plus P plus Q inverse will mean 1 upon Q. Okay, I'm only looking at the first term, which will mean Q will go up, and you will have 1 plus Q plus PQ. Okay, so the whole, all three, if you look at, will be Q upon 1 plus Q plus PQ, plus the second term will be R upon 1 plus R plus RQ plus 1 upon, sorry, P upon 1 plus P plus PR, right? And this is what we have to find out. And we know that P into Q into R is 1. But if you see, if I am going to take this LCM, this is going to be a fairly complex question, right? So a lot of times, and that's one very important hint for you, a lot of times you don't really have to solve these questions. And there are two methods that we use. One method is by substitution. Okay, and note down these very, very carefully. One method is what we call as method of substitution. Can I substitute some values and find out the answer? First. Second method is back calculation. Back calculation means, can I fit the answers given and see which one fits the equation? So back calculation is from answer to the question, from the answer choices to the question. Obviously, this you can't do in your theta questions. There's not possible. Other questions possible, but substitution is possible a lot of places. So here, for example, the moment you see PQR is equal to 1, one thing that automatically comes to my mind, why not take P is equal to 1, Q is equal to 1, and R is equal to 1? Nothing easier, right? Why not take P1, Q1, R1? Then your P into Q into R is equal to 1, right? And let's fit that. Then what happens? The first one becomes 1 upon 1 plus 1 plus 1. Q inverse is also 1 upon 1. So basically 1 by 3. In fact, all your terms will become 1 by 3. You will get 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3, which is 3 by 3, which is 1. Hence, the answer is second choice. Right. Let's take something else because it looks too easy. Let's take something else. If I take P as 1, Q as 2 by 3, and R as 3 by 2. Let's try this way. So then, of course, slightly more complex, but just to give you confidence that this method works and works beautifully in a lot of questions. And there's no other way you're going to solve this question. Okay, so 1 by 1 plus P we have taken as 1, Q inverse. Q we have taken as 2 by 3, so Q inverse will be 3 by 2 plus 1 upon 1 plus Q is 2 by 3. R inverse, R we have taken as 3 by 2, so inverse is 2 by 3. Okay, plus 1 upon 1 plus R 3 by 2 plus P inverse, which is 1. This is what we get. Okay, let's take the LCMs, not a problem. So 2 will go up. So you'll have 2 plus 2, so 4, 4 plus 3, 7, 2 by 7. Second one, 3 will go up, and you will have 3 plus 2 plus 2, 3 by 7. And the third term, you'll have 2 will go up, and you'll have 2 plus 3 plus 2, which is 7. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 by 7, which is again 1. So we have checked with 2 different values, and you can see that you get the same answer. So this method of substitution is a very, very powerful method. And normally the values that we substitute, remember that also is 0, 1, 2, -1, -2. Don't go beyond them. These are good enough. If one value does not give you confidence, take 2 values. P into Q into R is 1. Best, of course, is 1, 1, 1. Here, of course, because it's a product, you can't take 2, 3. So you could have taken this. One more thing that I could have done is I could have taken 1, -1, and -1. Right? That also can give me. Okay. And you can try that also. Okay. So that also we can check. The only thing I'll have to be careful is my denominator should not become 0. Which in this case, you have 1 plus, it will not become 0. That is the only thing you have to be careful. And this is a very good, fast method of solving a lot of questions. Okay. In fact, let's look at the next question, and you can tell me how that can be solved. So the answer for this is choice 2. Okay. Okay. So option B was the answer for this. Okay. Let's see the next question. If A upon B plus C is equal to B upon C plus A, which is equal to C upon A plus B, which is equal to R, then R cannot take any value except. Here, what method will you use? Yeah. Any suggestions? Here, I will suggest you the second method, which was back substitution, which was taking help of the answers. Because if you see answers, all the answers are giving you half or -1, plus half, minus half. That's fine. But value-wise, there are only 2 answers, half or -1. So that gives me a hint. Okay, that the values possible are only half or -half. Half or -1 or -half, whatever. So that should ideally send my mind thinking. Okay, so if I take again A, B, C, all of them to be equal to 1. A is 1, B is 1, and C is 1. Okay, let's start with that. Then the first ratio is half is equal to half is equal to half is equal to R. So very easy to see that half definitely will be an answer. Now, if half is an answer, answer is either choice A or choice C. So choice C has an answer -1 also. Now, how can I get -1? Now, one thing you can see for sure, you can't take 1, -1, and 1 as a combination, because then one of your denominators will become 1 minus 1, which will make it 0, and you can't have 0 in the denominator. So that combination is not possible. So what I will do is, let me take 1, -2, and 1. Okay, let me try this. Because why minus? Because this answer is on the negative side. Okay, hence I'm thinking more. Let me take something on the negative side. And I told you that the values that we take are 0, 1, 2, -1. Normally we don't go beyond this. Okay, -1 we can't take. Okay, because the denominator will become 0. Hence we are taking -2. Why we are taking minus and not plus? Because the other answer has a negative. So everything has a logic. Why we are trying this? Okay, so let's try this. So if I do this, then A upon B plus C becomes 1 upon -2 plus 1. Okay, which basically is 1 upon -1, which is -1. Right, so this is -1 is equal to B, which is -2 upon C plus A, which is 1 plus 1, which is -2 upon 2, which is also -1, which is equal to C, which is 1 upon A plus B, which is 1 minus 2, which is again 1 upon -1, which is -1. So is equal to R. So you can get R is equal to -1 also. Right? So R half is possible by taking 1, 1, 1, and -1 is possible by taking 1, -2, 1. And it does not matter which one you take as -2. Any one can be taken as -2, and the other two can be taken as 1, 1. Hence, R cannot take any value other than half or -1. C will be the answer for this question. Right? So this is by back substitution, where you put answers from the choices, put values in the question and try and figure out. Otherwise, let's look at the proper method also. If I solve this proper method, then this is equal to R. So A is equal to R B plus C. B is equal to R C plus A. C is equal to R A plus B. Add everything. You get A plus B plus C on the left-hand side is equal to 2R A plus B plus C on the right-hand side. Right? A plus B plus C gets cancelled. So you get R is equal to half. So this way also you will get R is equal to half. Okay. But R is equal to -1 you will not get. Okay. For that, we'll have to fit and some values and then check. Okay. Because obviously, when you have cancelled this A plus B plus C, you have cancelled from both sides. When you have cancelled, what have we assumed? That A plus B plus C is not equal to 0. This I hope you remember, because you cannot divide by 0. So obviously we have assumed. So any combination that makes A, B, C as 0 is a combination that is possible. And then of course you can't divide. So if you see the combination that we took, 1, -2, and 1 actually makes it 0. Hence, this also is a possible value. I hope we are clear. Because if you see here, the important part is here, A plus B plus C is equal to 2R A plus B plus C. So if we cancel by A, B, C both sides, but when we cancel, obviously we are assuming that A plus B plus C is not equal to 0. So we'll come back to this. But if we cancel, we get R is equal to half. So we get one answer. Now A plus B plus C is not equal to 0, we are assuming. What if it is equal to 0? If it is equal to 0, then 0 is equal to 0 you get on both sides. So that is also a possible value. So A plus B plus C is equal to 0. So any such combination which I take, so 1 -2, 1 makes ABC 0. And hence that is also a possible answer, in which case R will become equal to -1, as you saw here. Hence, this becomes my answer for this question. A good question, very interesting question. But through these two questions, I wanted to show you substitution and back calculation. So please substitute values wherever possible, and please take help from the answers wherever possible to solve your questions. Okay. So this brings us to the close of ratio as a concept. Okay. And moving forward, we will be doing many more questions. We'll be moving to proportion in the next class. We'll take up concepts on proportion, and we'll be looking at the concept there of how proportion is different. It's basically an extension of ratio. We'll look at proportion, we'll look at variation, and we'll carry on. Meanwhile, you please revise whatever we have covered in these two classes. Do a lot of questions so that you're super confident and you can tackle any ratio-based question in any of the exams. Thank you so much for attending. Take care. All the best.